All right, back here on Fox Football Daily, Rondé Barber, Kurt Menefee, being joined right now by the quarterback from the Washington Redskins, veteran of many, many years and a couple of Pro Bowls as well, DeAngelo Hall. And thanks for joining us, DeAngelo. As we sit here in Los Angeles, we know we're spoiled because we see the leaves changing behind you. You got a winter coat on, and we're complaining because it's only like 70 degrees out here today. Things a little bit different on
Y'all
our
got
end.
the good life right now, man.
Yeah, it gets better.
Y'all got the good life. We was just out here in practice, and it was, man, that wind was blowing so hard, man. It was a rough day out there today.
Crisp is like how I describe it.
And it gets better in November, December when it starts snowing there. Hey, before you and Rondé have a DB love fest here, let me get one quick question in here. You know, you're 2-4 right now, but you were 2-4 last year before you got hot in the second half of the season, wound up winning the division. You see any similarities between the way things were around your team last year and the way things are around this team this year?
Just the way the division, has kind of, played itself out in front of us, man. We're in a prime position to make a run. I think the good part about this year and last year is that, last year we had that experience making that run. When you got such a group of young guys and, you expect those guys to kind of get the confidence they need to win games, it's kind of tough. But, for us already being in that situation last year and having overcome the odds, we feel like, we definitely have a rough road ahead of us, but if we take it one game at a time, we got a chance to get right back in things.
DeAngelo, early in the season, I did a couple of your games, and Robert was not the same Robert that he was last season. Can you see progress in him so far, especially these last two games?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. You talk about, just being able to have a training camp under your belt and have a preseason, for players, and he didn't get that opportunity. So, these first 4 weeks of the season was sort of like his training camp and preseason, and, he's definitely looked great these last couple games, man. He looks great in practice. So, we're looking forward to just seeing him progress as he would have if he didn't have that knee injury. So, we definitely see a different Robert. We see one that wants to get out of the pocket, move a little bit more, and it's helping us on the back end as far as, our receivers being able to get open because guys aren't, just being able to drop 6 and 7 guys back there to just cover all our receivers. They have to leave a guy spying him at all times now that he's shown that he can still run.
I'd like to hear your perspective on this because I think a lot of people thought RG3 might get off to a slow start with the injury. That's natural. But that your defense would be solid enough to kind of carry you through games early on. And I think that's been kind of a disappointment to a lot of people as they watch. What's your perspective from inside?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It's been extremely frustrating. The reason I came back to this team is because I felt like we had all the pieces, especially on defense. We had a pretty solid group on the back end, and our front seven was, going to be our strength. So, the sacks hadn't really been coming and the turnovers like we would like to, but, we're starting to play a lot better football. We're starting to keep the yards down, and, we're still struggling with trying to get off the field on third down, but you know how this league works, man. That's an ongoing process. So, we'll continue to keep trying to work at that and just trying to be better.
So what was the problem then? What do you think went wrong that you can now correct?
I think early on, we were just on the field a little bit too much. Anytime you stop a team, you want to get to the sideline, kind of regroup, change some things up, strategize, and we really didn't have that opportunity early in the season. It was kind of like the offense was kind of on and off, and, defense had to get right back out there, and, it was kind of hard to game plan and re-scheme things, and, we were trying to make adjustments at halftime as opposed to, every drive being able to kind of change some things up and switch some calls.
Yeah, tackling was an issue. I think you had some young guys
playing. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Tell me how you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me how you guys plan on stopping Peyton in this offense. They've been very dynamic all year. I know Indy had some success last year. What do you see on film from these guys?
You know what? Before that Indy game, man, I think a lot of people would say this. That Denver Broncos team was pretty unbeatable, but just trying to follow what the teams ahead of them have had success with, whether that's rushing forward, being able to get pressure, which we feel like we can do. Locking their receivers up on the back end, which we feel like we can do. So just trying to take tidbits from every game they've played prior to this one and just trying to implement it. This league is a copycat league, so a lot of the things that Indy did and Jacksonville and a lot of other teams did, we're just going to try to mimic that and, just try to be successful with these guys.
Talk to me real quick about your teammate, Brandon Merriweather. He was originally suspended for those 2 games. Now it's 1. What do you think? Do you think he should have been suspended at all?
You know what? I'm a little bit, biased, in that opinion. I don't think he should have got suspended. I've seen a lot of rough hits throughout, the course of this season so far that are, you know, just as I think outrageous as the hit he had in the end zone. I think the other hit was a pretty clean hit on Alshon Jeffries. But you know, in this league, man, we're trying to protect guys, and I can definitely understand where the league is coming from. You know, really wasn't mad at the NFL for doing what they did. They have to try to protect players. You know, I was a little bit mad at, you know, the way that, you know, some of the Chicago Bears kind of came out after the fact and tried to, you know, verbalize, you know, just their feelings about the situation. And, you know, at that point, I felt like it should have just been Brandon versus, you know, the NFL as far as all the rules going to suspensions. I don't think we needed anybody else chiming in like, you know, a lot of those players were trying to do.
You know, he's sitting here listening, or we're sitting here listening to DeAngelo. You sound like Chris Rock there when you talk about the league suspending a guy. You say, I don't condone it, but I understand it. You know, that's probably the best way to put it. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Good luck against Peyton this week, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. We need it.
Yep. Stay warm.